Hey guys, in this month's top 5, I'm going to be sharing with you some of my favorite monsters and creatures. So every year in October for my monthly top 5 series or whatever, every October I always try to do something with like a Halloween sort of type of theme. So I tell you what guys, I am running out of themes for October. I didn't think I would, but I kind of am. And I did. I even went through like my past top 5s just to kind of get some inspiration, like, okay, what have I done? What haven't I done? And yeah, I even had to make a note, like I've definitely done some of my favorite vampires or zombies, witches, ghosts. Yeah, I think I did robots one year. I've done like fairies. So I was like, okay, what haven't I really done? I haven't done werewolves yet. I'm probably going to do werewolves next year because werewolves are kind of not really my thing, but I think I've accumulated enough books that some werewolves do populate my bookshelves somewhere. So yeah, maybe next year I'll get around to my 5 favorite werewolves. So yeah, I was like, what should I do this time around? You know, kind of change things up. So I was like, I've not really done anything with like monsters and creatures, you know, things that don't fit within like a category, if you will. Things that are very strange and weird, and they're kind of the only sort of thing that they would fit into within their own category or something like that, if that makes sense. So yeah, I was like, I'll just kind of do a combo of monsters and creatures, and I definitely found some good books to fit this category. So let's get going, you guys. At number 5, The Specters from Book 2, The Subtle Knife, in his Dark Materials series by Philip Pullman. And how to describe the Specters, you guys? God, it's difficult to even talk about his Dark Materials because his Dark Materials in itself is just a very complex thing to talk about and what it's about exactly. So yeah, it's like, well, how do I even talk about the Specters? But yeah, the Specters, they first appear in Book 2 in his Dark Materials series by Philip Pullman, as I said. And so here you are in Book 2, the characters and the narrative are starting to branch out and whatnot. And the Specters are like these mysterious, shadowy entities that for whatever reason are like sucking the souls out of adults, but they're leaving children alone. So yeah, at this point in the series, if you've kind of been, you know, if you've definitely read like the first book and whatnot, it's like you kind of get the idea of what's going on with these Specters, because a lot of what his Dark Materials is about, a lot of the big concepts presented in this series by Philip Pullman, a lot of the big concepts revolve around childhood versus adulthood, you know, and kind of that dividing line between childhood and adulthood. You know, it's a very fine line, and what is that line exactly? You know, that what turns you from a child into an adult, you know, other than just puberty, you know, other than just that. But you know, it's a very complex thing going on in the books, and it's kind of hard to talk about, you know, without going too much into spoilers, and there's a lot of like religious context that's presented in this series as well. It's a lot of really deep, dark themes and messages. So that's kind of the idea of these Specters, because they're this entity targeting adults but not children. And it's because of that thin divide there between childhood and adulthood, pretty much. So yeah, the Specters are indeed very terrifying, you guys, because they're just these black shadowy entities, and it's like, okay, what are they doing, why? I mean, I don't think you ever particularly get any answers in regards to a lot of that. So they're just absolutely mysterious, vague, and creepy, and they just send shivers down your spine as you read them. And I definitely loved how they were interpreted in the TV series on HBO, especially because I was very curious how the TV series was going to interpret them. And I think the TV show pretty much interpreted them just how I had them visualized in my head as I was reading the book. You know, just these wispy, dark, shadowy things, and it was perfect. So yeah, they are definitely extremely creepy. At number 4, maybe this is a weird choice for this video, but I was like, I think I still count these as monsters slash creatures in a sense. The dinosaurs. You guys, bear with me. The Dinosaurs from Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. Now, in reality, the real monsters of Jurassic Park, in a sense, are the people who even were playing God and bringing back these extinct creatures. You know, it's kind of like that Victor Frankenstein versus his monster dilemma. You know, who is the real monster? It's not really Frankenstein's monster, it's Frankenstein himself, you know? So, it's kind of the same concept here with Jurassic Park. That the monsters are not really the dinosaurs. It's the scientists, you know, at the end of the day. But still, I wanted to include the dinosaurs on this list because you have the freaking T-Rex and the Velociraptors, and they're frightening and scary. They're chasing your protagonist around, killing people. It's bloody and gory, and seriously, if you've never read the Jurassic Park book by Michael Crichton, it's a great time. If you love the movie, I think you'll highly enjoy the book. I think for the most part it's very similar. There are definitely some big major differences, but for the most part it is very similar, and it definitely still rolls along with those same themes and concepts, you know, presented in the Jurassic Park movie. But yeah, the book, yeah, the dinosaurs are definitely very, very scary, chasing the protagonist around, like I said, T-Rexes, Velociraptors. On the paper, it may sound cool and awesome, but the reality is, yeah, these dinosaurs, these creatures should have, you know, they went extinct for a reason. They should stay extinct. You shouldn't have people playing God, and you shouldn't have these monsters, creatures rather, these dinosaurs running around, because they're going to wipe out the population, you know, if they get loose. So yeah, I wanted to put the dinosaurs on this list because when would I ever be able to put them on a list like this? At number 3, Light Yagami / The Death Note from the Death Note series by, let me look how to pronounce his name, Tsugumi Oba? I kind of wanted to do a combination here with a creature / monster, if you will, because you have the very human character Light Yagami, but in his possession is this notebook called the Death Note. And if you've never read the Death Note series, you guys, it's about a young man named Light Yagami who he comes across this notebook which is called the Death Note, and what he's able to do with this notebook, he's able to like write a name down in the notebook. And kind of as the title suggests, it being, you know, Death Note, he can write people's name down. Next thing that happens, they die. He can give them a cause of death, like, hey, this is a murderer. He murdered somebody, raped somebody, did something, whatever it is. Just write the name down. Write down, hey, he had a very horrible heart attack, you know, and next thing that happens, this person dies. So what I love about the Death Note series, it really tackles a lot of moral and ethical issues with the character of Light Yagami and what he is doing through this really mysterious notebook and whatnot. And once again, a whole thing of a character playing God, essentially, and that's never a good thing. Light Yagami, he's just a student, and he has such a bright future ahead of him, but he gets a severe God complex throughout this entire series, because I think it's about 13 books. It's a manga series, if I haven't mentioned already. It's a 13-part manga series, and he gets a very severe God complex, thinking that, hey, I can get rid of all these bad, terrible people, you know? But yeah, he doesn't think about, he never thinks about the consequences, how it's affecting people. I mean, because even though these are, for the most part, because it starts off very, innocent in some ways, because he is killing murderers, rapists, you know, really bad people. But it kind of starts getting to a point in the series that he starts killing off pure innocent people. You know, anybody who is starting to figure out he is the serial killer, essentially, you know, he starts killing off innocent people like cops and whatnot, who are just doing their job trying to hunt him down, because he is really the monster at the end of the day, you know. But the whole series definitely is a fascinating look at morals and ethics, and what is Light doing? Is what he's doing, is it right? Is it wrong? Is it kind of this just shadowy gray area, really? So yeah, I kind of wanted this, I wanted to put him on this list, kind of this combination of he himself, but this power he gets from this death note, essentially. This death note, he just gets into his possession, he quickly becomes obsessed with it and power hungry, and he develops this immense god complex and whatnot, and yeah, had he never found this notebook, you know, he would have just went on his lovely way, you know, just living his life. But yeah, this notebook, this mysterious notebook, just destroys his life forever. And I love the Death Note series. If you've never read it, if you've never seen the animated, the anime or whatnot, I highly recommend it because it's a great time. At number 2, The White Walkers from A Song of Ice and Fire series by George R.R. Martin. And I had to look this up. If I remember the research I did really quickly, I don't think the White Walkers are ever referred to as the White Walkers in the book series. I think that's a name that was kind of just given to them in the TV show. I think, if I read that correctly, I'm trying to remember, because like even in the TV show, I think, you know, the Night King himself, that is a pure book or a TV show name for the Night King, because I don't even think even in George R. R. Martin's original series the Night King is really even referred to as the Night King. And yeah, like I said, the White Walkers, I don't think the White Walkers are referred to as the White Walkers. It's been a very long time since I've read A Song of Ice and Fire, you guys. And so a lot of what's in my head, it's all a little mishmash with the TV series as well. But yeah, the White Walkers. Yeah, guys, especially, you know, definitely in the book series and whatnot, because that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the book series, not the TV show. Yeah, definitely in the book series, they are very vague and mysterious. What is their intent? What is their purpose? And you only see them a few times throughout the book series. You just see them just casually and randomly, and even in book 1, they're actually the first thing you're introduced to in book 1 in the prologue chapter, because you see some men from the Night's Watch out in the woods, and they get attacked and whatnot, and that's kind of your first experience with the White Walkers, or you know what, I think they're called the Others. Aren't they referred to as the Others in the book series, I want to say, which makes me think of Lost, because the others and then Lost, you guys. I'm digressing. But yeah, you only see the White Walkers, or the Others, however you want to refer to them, you only see them very randomly in the book series, and that's great. It really gives you this sense of mystery and intrigue and fear and terror. And you never know when they're going to pop up, why they're going to pop up, you know. And yeah, George R. R. Martin has a couple more books to go, and even at this point in the series, they have yet to make a big, huge, dramatic appearance like they do in the TV show. You know, the TV show, they pop up in some big, huge, important ways, and the book series has not done that. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what George R. R. Martin does with the White Walkers and where they're going and what their ultimate purpose is, if it's even going to be anything similar to the TV show, you know. But yeah, love the White Walkers. They're just these dead, skeletal beings, and it's like, how are they alive? Why? You know, what's going on there? And I can't wait to see what George R. R. Martin does with them. And at number 1, The Doyle Family from Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. And yeah, guys, I fortunately I have the Doyle family at #1 here from Mexican Gothic. So let me put it this way, I'm kind of about to get into some spoilers in regards to Mexican Gothic. So if you have yet to read Mexican Gothic and you plan on reading Mexican Gothic in the future, you might, I think it's safe for, since I'm here at #1, it's safe for you to go ahead and just turn this video off if you don't want no spoilers. But yeah, I'm about to get into some spoilers with Mexican Gothic, yeah guys. So you have been warned. So yeah, continuing here, #1, Mexican Gothic by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, the Doyle family. Oh freaking god, this reveal, you guys. Mexican Gothic, you're just sitting there reading along, and it's like, you know, the Doyle family are a bunch of weirdos, and they're a bunch of racists and a bunch of elitists and whatnot. You're just kind of rolling along with the book, but little do you know that there's something really crazy going on with this family, and you get this reveal like at the halfway point of Mexican Gothic that the Doyle family are like how did they even describe it? Because even while I was reading the book, it blew my mind, you guys. They're like fungus. They're like fungus mushroom people or something. It's weird and bizarre, and I freaking loved it. And this is why I think Mexican Gothic, when I did my best books of 2020, I think Mexican Gothic was my #1 favorite read from 2020. And it was this massive reveal and just this whole twist that really flipped the narrative of the book, that really made me fall in love with Mexican Gothic to begin with. But yeah, if you don't know what Mexican Gothic is about, it follows a young woman who heads down to the Mexican countryside because she receives an urgent plea from her cousin, and her cousin needs help. So she heads down to the Mexican countryside, you know, with the intent of helping her cousin and her marriage that seems to be falling apart and whatnot. But she's greeted with this really strange family. And as I said, the Doyle family that her cousin has married into. The Doyle family are a bunch of racists, they're a bunch of elitists, and you quickly, once again, when you get to the halfway point of the book, you get this big reveal that they're actually rather immortal, I guess, especially the patriarch of the family. He's definitely immortal. I can't remember all the details if like the rest of the family, if they're all immortal or if they have kind of, you know, exceeded their lifespan a little bit. But yeah, the way that they're getting this longevity, it's through this ancestral home that they have, and this ancestral home is just moldy and decaying and falling apart, and they're getting this immortality, the patriarch especially. He's getting this immortality through like this fungus and mushrooms and stuff just growing all over the house and whatnot. It's all like really magical and crazy, guys. Like I said, it's really bizarre, and I hope I'm remembering all the details correctly, because like I said, I read it last year in 2020. But the Doyle family, they're definitely just a bunch of monsters. Definitely a bunch of freaking monsters. They didn't even need to have the whole mushroom and fungus thing attached to them, you know. They're, like I said, they're racist and elitists and whatnot. That's enough right there to make them a bunch of monsters. So I loved Mexican Gothic. I love this whole twist in the narrative, because you know it's a Gothic novel, you know, kind of in that same tradition as something like Rebecca or like Jane Eyre, for instance. You definitely get those huge vibes and those tropes. But yeah, this big twist, and it's a supernatural twist and whatnot. It's like, wow, bravo to you, Sylvia Moreno Garcia. And yeah, that's definitely why the Doyle family makes #1 on this list. So you guys, that is it for my top 5 monsters and creatures. In the comments below, what are some of your favorite monsters and creatures? Things that don't fit into a specific category, you know, things that aren't werewolves or vampires or fairies or robots, or, you know, something like that you see all the time, you know. What's something kind of just random, you know, that you love, that's just so creative to you, and you love that monster or creature or whatever. So yeah, that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.